Welcome to the Myrrhologist Podcast. I'm your host, Marissa Saint Luc. And today I want to take you on a journey that began with an encounter I had about a year ago and eventually led me to Ezekiel 28, the King of Tyre, the covering cherub, and a question that completely changed the way I read this chapter. There are moments in your life that divide everything into before and after. In an earlier episode, I mentioned a very serious encounter that I had about a year ago. I've shared parts of it before, but I don't think I've ever fully explained why it marked me so deeply. What happened that day was unlike anything I've ever experienced before, and nothing like it has happened since. This is not normal for me. The experience lasted nearly 4 hours. And during that time, passages of scripture I never understood suddenly seemed so alive. Connections appeared that I'd never seen before. And some of the things that I was shown, I still don't even fully understand. It felt as though I had stepped into a realm of revelation where the weight of God's presence was almost more than my physical body could sustain. One moment, I was in the gym exercising on a bike, and the next thing I knew, I was face down on the floor. The only language that I have for it is what I call being under the burden of the Lord. I began praying intensely for churches, leaders, and people. Names and places were coming to mind that I never heard before. And what began as prayer became a series of visions that continued for several hours. I didn't have a notebook nearby, but I called a friend. She stayed on the phone and she wrote everything down as I was describing. Looking back, I am incredibly grateful for what she did because much of what I was seeing involved churches and locations I had never heard of. So I doubt I would have remembered many of the details. But there is one part I can never forget. The first thing I saw was an angelic being. His appearance was breathtaking. His skin looked like metallic silver, and his hair was shining like gold. Across his shoulders were what appeared to be like golden shoulder pads, and flowing behind him was this like massive garment covered with gemstones, like hundreds of them. The light coming from him was almost unbearable to look at. And I remember saying to my friend, "Oh my God, the devil is so beautiful." And to this day, I don't know how I knew it was Lucifer. Nothing announced who he was. If someone would have shown me an image without context, I would have assumed that I was just looking at a beautiful angel. Then the fear of God hit me, harder than anything I had ever experienced. As I began to navigate this seer realm for the first time, the scene changed, and I found myself looking at what appeared to be a heavenly sanctuary. Lucifer stood before a choir, and you can tell that there were ranks of angels, musicians, and worshipers, all waiting in anticipation. And then I saw enormous doors swing open as Jesus began to walk through. And as he entered, Lucifer swept out the jeweled cloak. Instantly, the brilliance of Christ illuminated every gemstone, and the entire sanctuary was filled with light. And then the scene shifted as I watched Lucifer removing the gemstones from his garment one by one, and he placed them onto crowns and he set them on royal pillows. Angels from the choir and orchestra came forward to receive them. There was no sense of rebellion in what I was seeing. They seem to desire what Lucifer had, not so that they could be glorified, but so that they could glorify God in the same way. The gemstones appear to be instruments of reflection. When the light of Christ touched them, the sanctuary became radiant. The angels longed to participate in that reflection. And then the scene repeated. The doors opened again. Jesus began walking through the sanctuary, and then Lucifer swept out his cloak. But this time there were no gemstones. The crowns were gone. The brilliance was gone. And suddenly I saw what looked like an earthquake, and each fell through into what looked like a desert. This encounter continued in several different directions after that, but this particular scene stayed with me. And for an entire year, I kept wondering and trying to understand what I had seen. And that search led me to Ezekiel 28. And I'm going to go ahead and read this version to you out of the NIV version. A prophecy against the king of Tyre. The word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, say to the ruler of Tyre, this is what the sovereign Lord says. In the pride of your heart you say, I am God. I sit on the throne of a God in the heart of the seas. But you are a mere mortal and not a god, though you think you are as wise as a god. Are you wiser than Daniel? Is no secret hidden from you? By your wisdom and understanding, you have gained wealth for yourself and amassed gold and silver in your treasures. By your great skill in trading, you have increased your wealth. And because of your wealth, your heart has grown proud. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Because you think you are wise as a god, I am going to bring foreigners against you, the most ruthless of nations, and they will draw their swords against your beauty and wisdom and pierce your shining splendor. They will bring you down to the pit, and you will die a violent death in the heart of the seas. Will you then say, I am God? In the presence of those who kill you? You will be but a mortal and not a god. In the hands of those who slay you, you will die the death of the uncircumcised at the hands of foreigners. I have spoken, declares the sovereign Lord. The word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, take up lament concerning the king of Tyre, and say to him, this is what the sovereign Lord says. You are the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone adorned you. Carnelian, chrysolite, and emerald, topaz, onyx and jasper, lapis lazuli, turquoise and beryl. Your settings and mountings were made of gold. On the day that you were created, they were prepared. You were anointed as a guardian cherub, for so I ordained you. You were on the holy mount of God. You walked among the fiery stones. You were blameless in your ways from the day you were created till wickedness was found in you. And through your widespread trade, you were filled with violence and you sinned. And so I drove you in disgrace from the mount of God, and I expelled you, guardian cherub, from among the fiery stones. Your heart became proud on account of your beauty, and you corrupted your wisdom because of your splendor. So I threw you to the earth. I made a spectacle of you before kings. By your many sins and dishonest trade, you have desecrated your sanctuaries. And so I made a fire come out from you, and it consumed you. And I reduced you to the ashes on the ground in the sight of all who were watching. All the nations who knew you are appalled at you. You have come to a horrible end and will be no more. There's a lot in this chapter, but I want to bring your attention to the fact that we are living in systems right now that carry the exact same spirit. Systems that are obsessed with image, aesthetics, branding, influence, performance, and platform culture. As I began to study the Hebrew meaning surrounding this chapter, honestly, it felt like opening up a hidden scroll. Tyre in Hebrew is Zor. Its gematria value is 296. And as I studied that number, I noticed something interesting. 296 can be broken down into 290 and 6, which means headship, righteousness, and man. A system of human rule clothed in its own righteousness. And honestly, that fits Tyre remarkably well. Tyre was a merchant empire, a civilization built on wealth, influence, and trade. It projected stability, strength, and security, and yet underneath it all was a growing independence apart from God. And suddenly, Revelation 18 started connecting in my mind because Babylon operates through many of these same mechanisms: luxury, influence, seduction, and economic power. And then we get to the King of Tyre, which is Melech Zor, and its gematria value is 386. Broken apart, it becomes 380 and 6, which is fire, speech, and man. A man speaking from an exalted position. A ruler making declarations that belong to God. And isn't that exactly what the ruler of Tyre says? I am God. I sit on the throne of God. The themes surrounding that number kept pulling me back toward elevated rulership, counterfeit dominion, and wisdom detached from obedience. And I thought, that is exactly what modern systems reward: brilliance without surrender or visibility without holiness. Then Ezekiel calls him the covering cherub, Cherub ha-Koseth. Its gematria value is 913. And what you might find really interesting is that 913 is also the same value as Bereshit, in the beginning, or Genesis as we know it. And when I broke that number apart, 910 and 3, which is completion, order, or the hand and movement. So that could be interpreted as a completed work moving under the hand of rulership. Now, Lucifer is connected to original beauty, original splendor. He stands near the beginning of the story itself. He is a created witness to it. Ezekiel says, "You walked among the fiery stones." And in Hebrew, fiery stones is avnei esh. The gematria value for that is 364. Broken apart, it becomes 360 and 4. 300 is fire, 60 is support, and 4 is the door. A realm where the fire of God is upheld by heavenly order and accessed through an appointed entrance. And then I studied the Hebrew word for beauty, which is Yophi. Its gematria value is 106, and 100 represents fullness, and we know 6 is man. So the fullness expressed through man. Then I looked at the word brightness, which is Zohar, and its gematria value is 212. 200, which is headship, 10 we know is order or the hand, and 2 is the house. So we could say this is illumination flowing outward from the house or from the source. Going back to my vision, the stones only shined when Christ entered the room. The source was always the one walking through the doors. And while I was studying the stones, another question emerged, because Ezekiel is not the only place in Scripture where God talks about these precious stones. The high priest carried stones too. The ephod of the high priest carried a breastplate set with 12 stones, each engraved with the name of the tribe. There was Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Joseph, and Benjamin. These were 12 stones for the 12 tribes, 12 names carried before the Lord continually. The deeper that I studied the ephod, the more I realized that these stones represented identity, remembrance, covenant, government, and intercession. The high priest carried the tribes over his heart before God, and every stone represented a people of covenant identity. And that's when I noticed something I never seen before. Ezekiel describes one set of stones, and Exodus describes another. One adorns a cherub, and the other one rests over a priestly heart. So I started counting the stones, and I realized that Lucifer only has 9, and the high priest has 12. And that question lingered with me for a little bit of why would Scripture go to such lengths to describe the stones of a covering cherub and then give another list of stones resting on the heart of the high priest? The more I studied those lists, the more I became convinced that God was giving us clues about 2 different postures. One story is about beauty, wisdom, splendor, and worldly success. And the other is about intimacy with God, inheritance, representation, and identity. And now I no longer study Ezekiel 28 as only about what Lucifer carried, but now I understand that it reveals what he never carried. And that's where we're going next. It's a really good lesson, so stay tuned. You've been listening to the Myrrhologist Podcast. Thank you for considering liking, subscribing, and sharing this episode. You can visit MarissaSaintLuc.com for custom Hebrew name scrolls, kingdom crest designs, and additional resources. This episode has been brought to you by Ahava Overflow Counseling. Until next time, I pray that your heart stays anchored in covenant and you continue discovering the treasures hidden in His Word.